Nothing in Hollywood ever happens for no reason. 'Cause not even run-ins or dinners, ambiguous reposts of Instagram stories, and in early March 2024, a dinner was held in Reese. Brentwood appeared to be nothing. Sydney Sweeney and Nicole Kidman. Witherspoon. No labeled posts or press, just a grainy picture on the private page of a casting assistant tale. 3 women, 1 table with a candle lit, and the manner in which you smile when Sydney, a decision has already been made. Posted nothing, but her expression said everything is as anxious and thankful as she knew she wasn't meant to be in this room. To be in yet. She was unaware of this was a warning, not a pitch supper, due to the fact that Ree had only 48 hours prior received a call, not from a buddy, but from a brand partner, but from a producer. The call was brief, and we're listening to Blake's "Sydney is crowded with individuals looking for something. It's going quickly." That was the entire message. Just one cold fact, no context. Blake Lively had gone into "The Rays didn't panic during the chat," contacted Nicole after noticing this trend. Prior to Blake allying herself with "they are being used by younger actresses" to develop female boss optics, followed by the gradual rooting of the return of focus to it, didn't always blow up for her. But the younger actress was always there when it happened, vanished initially. So when Sydney received she was unaware that the dinner invitation was a rescue effort, as well as Ree said, "I didn't say much. This, if Blake's group gets in touch, be happy. Courteous, then send it my way." The word is Nicole, and Reese had already made plans. Before Blake. Something with Sydney. I can't deny that this smells like a preventive action, and a friendly reminder, each deleted tweet that contained a false statement, and it takes hours to cobble together a PR cover-up. If you wish to support this channel in maintaining, going to press the join button and turn into a member will continue to reveal what the message arrived in less than 72 hours following the meal, not from Blake. It originated from a source other than her agent. A half-hour stream development executive, informal yet perhaps harmful email to Blake's team, sent in a twin lead concept deck. Sweeney's limited series connected no warning, no mention of Reese or Nicole. Just a heads up. Glossy. A pitch deck. Identified and in use already, Sydney spotted her at the same moment as Ree did. Text came right away, but I didn't sign it. I have no idea what this is at all. However, Reese didn't respond since she already recognized it. It was just Blake's actions in 2022, attaching herself just in time to arrive. Build the project as though it were hers. Sort the papers later, optics first. Blake's name appeared that week in 3 of Sydney's internal memos weren't. The articles were then silently fed to media from anonymous sources. Blake's group is so quick that this project is frightening. Wasn't even talked about 2 weeks ago. And she is now circulating decks with Sydney called Nicole and attached herself. But why didn't Nicole respond? Because she was disregarding her since she had already gone on what they said on the phone with Ree. Was this what a producer leak claimed? For now, she outperformed us. But we have the next 90 days due to the Hollywood press quarters makeup cycles, and if Blake desired the story, they would now allow. She only had it long enough to pull later. The floor out. Nicole didn't do any interviews online, reposts without denying, but after 3 days, Blake's project revealed a change. Nicole had a lengthy variety panel, been scheduled but abruptly rescheduled silently. No announcement, the panel meant to include her Reese. And 2, it was removed by the anonymous female creators from the website of Variety before anyone observed. With the exception of insiders Nicole and Ree were scheduled to make an appearance alongside next week, Variety's Women in Power panel, Blake's whole thing simply disappeared. Coincidence. The project was leaked 3 days ago. The team led by Sydney Sweeney the same day ceased responding to emails. No confirmation projects that cannot be denied, and she disappeared. From circulation, the Hollywood lingo for don't say anything or take action. Since Nicole had provided her with a single piece of counsel, made her believe she had won. Ree had already activated in the interim. Another brief internal memo passed through 3 organizations to it appeared to be a hideaway to outsiders, but Ree was walling off her goods within. Establishing the scene so if Blake was preparing to run alongside the story, after which Ree and Nicole were heading to manage the consequences, Reese Witherspoon, according to sources, just pulled 3 meetings that were planned to incorporate Blake's upcoming project she's playing, not playing quietly. Blake and she celebrated a phony A-post on Strong Women on Brunch Papat, encouraging one another and one very edited caption. There's nothing that moves faster, compared to women who help women. Nicole Ree also saw the post, but none of them enjoyed it. However, a member of their group took a screen grab and forwarded it to Variety. Subject, please mark this for the upcoming quarter. Blake Lively was everywhere for 3 days. PR walkthroughs and early teasers disclosures regarding a top-secret prestige project. She was growing up with an unidentified Gen Zer actress, but she posted something strange. From a behind-the-scenes carousel, perfect lighting for a photo shoot. With curled hair, a caption with soft focus that said, "Crafting tales with ladies I respect." Set life, 20,000 reposts on average across 5 industries, accounts that share it and mention the due date. Perhaps an Apple tag this time, but nothing. The stylist did not repost, and there were no comments, no tags from Sydney, according to the showrunner. Most revealing of all, there was no reshare from Nicole doesn't like Ree, even if she's neutral. Outlets that typically performed well remained silent. Yes, you all saw Blake's, no one reposted. The new promotion, not even the glam team, for example. The same message applies to PR weariness. A Slack screenshot was released inside a Blake's brand thread collaborates with a high-end fashion brand. The purpose of the thread was internal. However, after it was shared, there was the initial real setback. One of the Blake had collaborated with hairdressers for years, silently removed 2 previous shoots. No explanation, no remarks, just left. One of them featured the caption, "Women who constantly defend women." Now blank Blake's preferred stylist removed her photos, plus took her tag off of 2 occasions. This reminds me a lot of Nicole's silent spreads, and Blake saw her team became aware, but when they contacted, they did not receive statements for their answers. They received receipt screenshots and 1 covert email that was released to the cut stated, "We encourage women, but not all of them encourage one another." Initially, Blake didn't tear her. She thought it was an error. Incorrect algorithm timing for a week, so she did. She twice what had always worked before. Down. Another post, this one is a movie. A video of her strolling over a studio lot, hair blowing. In slow motion, caption, "The noise isn't the main focus." Regarding the piece, but the remarks weren't rolling in as before, and then one of them struck more forcefully than anticipated. "Look at me. That new Blake clip is making me working vitality. But where is the labor? Where's the trailer co-star?" Reese at the precise moment when Nicole was sitting in a locked room when she dropped Apple TV Plus's door pitch session, is not with Sydney but with Blake, but with an up-and-coming independent actress that nobody had even associated with Blake's undertaking. The tiny silent room had no paparazzi. Announcements and the idea that they pitched, almost just like Blake attempted co-optation, but this time the Nicole's name appeared on the script as Reese's business and executive producer was mentioned in the back-end notes earlier. The project was a replacement, and Apple adored it. Within a day, they included the idea for their Q3 preview schedule, although the important detail was not made public. The title was just added to an internal schedule, and someone disclosed the image in an instant. Insiders began assembling it. "Hold on, isn't that the Blake was floating on the same pitch a week ago?" However, Nicole isn't even attached. Reese simply remade the project. Even Variety noticed without her. When Blake's group called Apple, they received no, the stylist was then contacted. Blake used Savannah 2 years ago. Take out the person who just styled Nicole. That stylist also didn't respond. As the sector wasn't changing, it was just moving against Blake. It's not that Blake got cut without her. The fact that she was never featured simply strolled past her. It began with just a single Instagram story with no caption, hazy image of the third level of a bookcase. A script with the title on the far right corner was obscured. But two names remained. Sydney Sweeney and Nicole Kidman are visible. Wasn't shared by Sydney. Instead, it was shared by It Remained Up for a Costume Designer's 45 minutes before to deletion, however not prior to a screenshot being taken of it. Nicole and Sydney's new script citing similar style to the Reese on Instagram. Last year's project, Bro Blake Isn't Twitter, was featured in this movie within hours. Flames. Someone discovered an old, unconfirmed pitch deck from 2023 that appeared uncannily alike. This time, however, Ree was identified as Nicole. The producer was a co-lead. And Sydney wasn't meant to be not involved at the time, which indicated that this was a new revision of Blake and the replacement weren't involved. Blake's group attempted to manage the aftermath. An email was sent out to the press, to 3 reporters from the sector. It had a list of bullet points Blake is still focusing on stories that are female-led. She's putting creative direction before of Sydney's visibility is a close buddy. Rift. Nothing has been verified. Changing, just one reporter answered, and their response was harsh. Thank you for notes, but damage control isn't what this is. Peace Blake's moment is simply not here. Now, nothing has been verified. Everything is PR language for evolving. We lost the role, and nobody informed us of the situations in which Sydney didn't speak. She did not even post a tweet. Observe the Instagram account of the new show. However, that was Nicole and Ree's point. Weren't creating a lot of hype. Keeping it in check because occasionally the most important statement is absolutely nothing, but everyone else speaks. For by the end of March, the sector was no longer muttering about Blake. They weren't standing up for her, pointing fingers at her. They simply weren't bringing her up at any red carpet function came and went. But Blake arrived stylish, flawlessly grinning broadly, but she didn't trend photos that were hardly shared. At all, her outfit was reposted by stylists. Without an official, she was even tagged by accounts in the interim. Nicole's group subtly shared one still from a woman, her latest project. Another standing in while sitting on a porch, the doorway without hashtags or names. But supporters recognized her as Sydney. Nicole just dropped by without Blake. One picture. From her most recent series, even a trailer. But it's louder online. For that, instead of Blake's full rollout, this is a calculated quiet. 101. Blake's group attempted another maneuver. They spread a rumor about a recent development. Blake is negotiating to lead a future modification of a bestseller, but deadline passed, but Variety didn't carry it. It was only picked up buried by one blog. Between 2 simultaneous ad placements, Ree was seen at an Apple TV Plus at one point. A shadow is more talented than a pitcher. Executive She wasn't giving a presentation, did not sit at the main table. Instead, she was noted as paying attention to creative direction. 6 was a title that was non-existent. Months ago, but now it was crucial. Since Reese was not returning to she was constructing the new one. For everybody else, and as for Nicole posted but didn't say anything. Nothing. However, she did go to a movie panel. When questioned about mentorship at USC, after a moment she added, "Sometimes you move instead of pushing someone forward. Move aside and make the space clean." The type of quote, without any names or drama that silences the entire audience. Nicole's statement regarding Blake, "Don't dispute with me," she let Sydney to enter and shut the door after her since Blake wasn't. Excluded in the end. Instead, she was outgrown. No scandals, no headlines, simply a new room, and she was no longer in it. It became official in the second week of April. It has been 5 days since Blake Lively last posted. Advertisements, behind-the-scenes footage, or even an ambiguous, inspirational saying, nothing. The problem is that no one questioned why there wasn't a one outlet made contact, but none where. Is Blake? TikTok. No blind items at all questioning whether she had been harmed, because everyone was already aware, and even worse, everyone Blake had already moved on and didn't receive canceled. She just received gradually, subtly, and gracefully. Replaced like a you are unaware of the power outage until the screen darkens. One of Blake's previous public relations friends, a man who is renowned for asking for nice profiles on a podcast, what transpired. He paused at that moment, stated, "She constructed an image. However, you are unable to construct anything around oneself, then attempt to exert control over the climate." After that video went viral, Blake was no longer the primary character. She was a case study in the interim, and Sydney Sweeney appeared in a campaign in which she never advertised anything but a behind-the-scenes shot in another person's narrative. Her name was not marked at all, but the picture went Sydney barely made it through everywhere. The entire situation. She remained silent and still received the screenplay, the role, and Nicole's approval. That's how you win, and she was seen during a meal with Nicole, the head of casting at a 24. No press, no caption, just a blurry photo, the same as much vigor as her meal with Sydney a month before the circle was complete. Reyes had stepped back into shadow leadership, Nicole was building something new, Sydney was in it, and Blake. She wasn't even asked to attend the subsequent dialogue. No drama, no cancellation. Only a phone ceased working, ringing April 14th, 2024. No teaser, no just a silent upload on the Countdown Apple TV Plus press site, Inheritance a Hello, Sunshine's new limited series developed by Reese with Nicole Kidman. In the lead role, Sydney Sweeney and Witherspoon. Don't Blake? No quote, no PR, roll out, and yet it trended within 11 minutes. Inheritance. Unexpectedly released a teaser, and it's everything. Nicole Sydney, a Southern story. No filter, no gloss, no Blake. The teaser was 1 minute long. No dialogue, just a dusty farmhouse. A woman walking barefoot through dead grass, a piano key breaking mid-note. Then Nicole's voice. Some legacies don't get handed down. You have to take them back. Cut to black. Reese wasn't in it, but her name was the third credit, and the caption below from the Big Little executive team lies a story reclaimed. And just like that, Blake was erased, not by force, not by scandal, but by something worse, omission. She was never mentioned in the pitch deck, never quoted in the articles, not listed in any casting archive. It was like she had never touched the project at all. The scariest part, they didn't block her. They just didn't include her at all. That's when you know it's over. Behind the scenes, one of the original set photographers from Blake's version posted a single photo. Not publicly, just a close friend story. The image Blake standing in full wardrobe smiling at a scene that never made it to screen. No caption, just a blurred comment underneath. They built it without her. And this time it worked. April 21st, 2024. Apple TV Plus drops the official trailer. A full rollout title card. Cast list, press quotes, and soundtrack drop. Sydney and Nicole equal billing cinematography. That feels like dust and grief, a female-led writing team and an executive producer credit for Reese Witherspoon.